Hey guys, it's Rush. I have a wild game for you today, and this is in my RHM Panzerwagen. I actually played this game a few hours ago, and I'm finally getting to the recording. So it's fresh in my mind. I know exactly what happened, why I did everything I did, and well, I'm in my RHM Panzerwagen, and this is on the map Ensk. So I'm going to explain the justification for the plays that I make, and hopefully you can learn something from it. Basically, light tank on Ensk, if you look at the enemy team lineup, which is something you always need to do, especially on a map like Ensk when you're in a tank like this, you'll see that they've got a lot of, well, basically 5 light tanks, 2 arty, 4 mediums, and, well, the rest of their team is TDs and heavies. So the enemy team has 2 EBRs, AMX 13105, Manticore, and T100. Now, as a purple player, going to the field when they've got 2 EBRs would basically be suicide. I can't risk a play anywhere in this realm when they've literally got 5 light tanks, because if you've ever fought against EBRs, they just YOLO shoot you with HE, especially in a tank like this. To get shot with HE is just devastating. It's like getting hit by a tank destroyer who goes 70 kilometers an hour. So the field is not, like, it's an option, but it's not a good one. Instead, when you can't go to the field, you kind of have 2 options left. You can play the mid, which is actually a really good choice if you're in a light, but I prefer, if I can, to go to the city, and that's where this replay comes in. If you've seen my other replays on Ensk, you'll know I'm very comfortable in this sort of area right here. And that's exactly where I'm going to take this tank in this map. Now, why can I get away with that? If you're in this game, why, like, what situation do you need to take the city in a light tank? Well, if you looked at their lineup, like I told you to, you must have, the enemy team only has an IS-4, IS-7, and FV 4005. These are the only tanks you would ever really expect city, maybe the Object 430U or Centurion Action X, but based on their lineup, I can come to the city with relatively little fear of being YOLO'd, and there you go, one of their 5 light tanks right into the city. It's T100 light tank. I'm able to put a shot into him because I was looking at my map and I noticed him. I'm not able to get the reload in time to get the second shot, and unfortunately, because of that T100's distraction, I'm not able to get the jump on the IS-7. The T100 screwed up my opening play, basically. So I have to fall back. In this situation, if you look at their team, they've got the 430U, IS-7, and IS-4 coming to the city. Now, I looked at my teammates, and I saw an E3, an E4, a K91, and myself. And with the tanks, with their tanks being as far back as they were, I was like, I can't hold against an IS-7. I'm just going to get YOLO'd. So I fell back to this line that brings my E4 and my E3 to the fight, and I asked this E3 for help, because he's going to the one line, and, like, the enemies are right in front of us. We know where everyone going to the city is because we just spotted them and I looked at the enemy team lineup. So these tanks are lit, and what you'll notice is this E3 begins to come back. Now, as a light tank, your advantage in a flank like this is often going to be speed, and what's happening in this case is the enemy team has all their tanks in the field. We only have 3 tanks, and part of that's my fault because I didn't go there, but I realized we do need to push the city because we're going to lose the field in time. Now, I pop up to here. That's because I noticed the IS-4 was looking away. A lot of my shots in the city are very quick, very reactionary. The amount of articulation that can go into them is only so much. It's like I see an opening and I push into it. So I know this IS-4 is loading right now, and to explain this fight dynamic, for example, is I know we've got an E3 right here. The E3 and I, if you've ever played with an E3, you'll get in each other's way all the time because the E3 is a tank destroyer. Most E3s love the inside corner. It's just what they have to do as a tank destroyer driver. So I'm here. I know this IS-4 is reloading, but I also see this E3 is falling back, and I'm going to hear his tank rub against mine. And so the second I see him start to do that, I just fall back. I'm not going to block the guy and get him killed. So you have to be aware of that. You don't want to block your teammates, especially if they're reversing into you. So after that happens, I'm going to try other angles. You can see looking at the field, we're making decent headway. We don't have to worry about the middle or anything like that. And so I can take the time to explore different angles. Now, if you're watching the map and you're an astute viewer, what you'll notice is the one line is open. And most of you guys would say, like, hey, Lemming, why don't you push the one line? You can get up to F1 and flank people. If you've ever pushed the one line, you'll know there's always some idiot camping in K1, and if there isn't, someone like this STB1 would rotate over. So that's not a realistic option for my tank. Maybe for one shot it'll work, but I'd much rather wait for the IS-4 to reload, put a shot into him, and then exploit that type of opening. And so that's actually the rest of the play in the city right here. So what's happening is this IS-4 is falling back, RE4 is pushing in. I'm waiting for this IS-7 to cross. He does. I put a shot into him. You can see he falls back, gets shot HE, probably from the mid or the K91 actually. And you can see look at my, I didn't even remember this from the replay. K91 goes here, Manticore right there. Could you imagine if I was in that position? The guy would be spamming me with HE, it'd be done. There's no chance. So staying into the city, right call, and my replay proved it. Now, I'm waiting for that IS-7 to poke. I put a shot into him. I can show you that again, just so you can see it from my, like, actually zoomed in perspective. So basically, I would come here and I take a shot at this IS-7, right? And you can see the K91's on the one line, blah, blah, blah. We're going to pop back to here. Now, this angle, you can see the IS-7's falling back, so I can come out to here. And with the IS-7 having given me this corner, I'm able to put a shot into him. He takes a shot at me, misses, and you have to be super quick. His gun rotation is what saved me there. Now, I'm going to come through here. I think I heard this IS-7 fire, so I quick look to my right, don't see the IS-4, put a shot into the rear of the IS-7, recheck the IS-4. Now, the 183 is behind me, so with this guy behind me, I don't want him blocking me by accident. A lot of times your TD drivers do not give a shit about you because they're TD players and like they have no situational awareness. They also don't care about their that's why they're playing TDs. So what I have to do, he's probably going to block me out if I'm not careful. And you can see what I decide to do because I've got that TD behind me is I YOLO this IS-7. This puts me in a crossfire between the IS-4, but he's got his own E4 and K91 to deal with, so it's a reasonable risk to take as opposed to getting pushed out by the FE. Put a shot into the IS-7, get the kill, try to turn the gun around in time, and I'm actually not able to do it before the FE gets the kill on the IS-4. Now, I've done 1,600 damage at this point. That's textbook brawling in the city. The next question is, how do I go about getting damage from here? Well, I see an STB-1 all alone. As a light tank, that's what you want. You want tanks that are all alone. So I rush up to here, and I'm going to try to get a shot on this guy. I stop just in time, so I don't go through the window or anything stupid like that. Don't get the shot on the STB-1. However, now in a really good position. You can see any of their tanks coming back to defend the base against the city. I have shots on. So K91, put a shot into him. Just get safe. I'm worried this STB-1 might YOLO me, so you can see my tanks angled away towards where I would run. The STB-1 gets tracked right here, so we put a shot into him. Someone else finishes him off. And now I'm going to look for shots on people. So look for a shot on the K91. That doesn't work. The next question is, can I poke? Now, if you look at the map, there's an FE4005 on spot, and I'm like, I guarantee the FE's on this corner right here. So, like you can see, I actually was recording this live, and I just didn't hit record. So here you go. FE gets spotted. I've got a brick wall in between him, so if the FE shot at me through the wall, the HE would have died on that brick wall, so I was able to put a very safe shot into him. The STRV is where I said the FE would be, so there's always a tank right there. You can say get a second shot to that FE. And now, this is where I think I make a bit of a mistake. I'm full HP right here, and this is the mistake pubbies make all the time. I should just fucking YOLO in. I've got 1,600 HP, and if I were to just wait or YOLO that FE, I would have had an extra shot of damage in this game. But you can see I kind of waited a bit too long. Artie finishes off the FE, so I miss out on some damage. The Centurion Action X runs away from me. Someone else kills him. The Artie, for sure, in my view, was going to die, so I was going after the AMX 13105. Someone kills him instead. And then the E3 manages to kill the Artie. So that's the game. It's actually a textbook example of how to play this map and how to brawl in your light tanks. So, there we go. It's not often that you'll get through an entire game on Ensk and manage to do 3,000 damage without taking a single hit point of damage. So I figured I'd show this replay because it's like, this is what you want to do if you ever are forced into this situation. And, you know, try if any of you think I should have gone field, I'd love to see you make it work when they've got T100, 13105, 2 EBRs, and a Manticore. Like it just, those guys were in the field, never would have worked. So that's the game. 3k damage, 1 kill, 743 base XP. We did not come top on the team by any stretch. Only came third place. But what can you do? I took like the shittiest of light tanks gun-wise to the city, and I made it work still with 3k damage, and you know, my tank is set up for spotting, so that's that. We ended up profiting 10,000 credits, fired 12 times, 10 of them went in, and distance traveled 1.89. So we did not do a lot of distance traveled with that one, but there you go. Managed to win the game. And that's all you can hope for on a map like that. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And one more thing, I am planning on live streaming on October the 16th. It'll be a 2-hour live stream at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. So if you're in the Eastern United States, it should be around 4 o'clock p.m. your time. I'll be live streaming for 2 hours. If you're in London, it'll be 7 plus 2, basically 9 o'clock your time, roughly. I don't know the exact time zone stuff, but you know, it should be really good time for every single time zone that my viewers are in. So I'll put the information in the description. I'll put my time zone and everything. October the 16th at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. I hope to see you there. Thanks so much. Bye.